Thank you for joining us on another episode of Car to Car. I'm Ramon.
And I'm Dana. And today we'll discuss a case out of Cincinnati in which we'll discuss Rodney Hinton Jr.'s killing of the police officer who directing traffic. His name was Larry Henderson, and he was a deputy sheriff with the Hampton County Police Department. And I would like to give my sincere condolences to his colleagues and his family. So, tell me, Ramon, how you feel about this case.
Well, this case is kind of tough for me because I look at it from a multitude of angles. I look at it from a law enforcement angle, being in law enforcement for 30 years. I look at it from a father angle, having three male sons. And I also look at it from the history that we've had as blacks with the police department and any type of officiousness that has happened to us. So when I look at this, I'm very conflicted. So I can really see a lot of angles. And so I'll start, like you said, giving my condolences to the family of the officer who passed, but also giving my condolences to the family of the young man who was shot by the police. I don't think we do a good enough job of giving joint condolences because both sides lost someone. And so I want to start there. But as a police officer, I think we were trained really well. And so when incidents like this happen, I mean, I've chased guys with guns and knives, and I've had people run towards me with knives and guns. And so when I look at this situation and I think about my training and how we were trained, we're trained to use cover and concealment because cover and concealment gives you time and allows you the opportunity to make better decisions and to think things through a little bit more. So when I look at the situation, I see where the shooting officer could have probably used some cover and concealment in this because there was a trash receptacle that was there that could have given him some time, and then the suspect was running away, and I didn't see where the suspect had any intent on using a gun at the police officer who was chasing him, and the officer who fired, I didn't see where he was in harm's way, and then I didn't see where this suspect was running towards a community where deadly force needed to be used at that time. And so continuing on to the next part of how I feel as a father, I look at this and I look at how, as a father, we have to, and as parents, and let me not make light of your role in this as well, as parents, of black boys and young men, we have to teach our kids how to survive the police, where other races teach their kids how to interact in a manner that is respectful. And so, I think that a lot of people don't understand that. And I've had great debates over the years with some of our police colleagues about this very point that we, in fact, truly have to survive the police because of our history with the police. So when we get looked at, we're looked at as not as a brother, as a father, as a son, as an individual. We're looked at as something to be feared. And so I think a lot of times when you see police officers take action against someone who's black or dark-skinned, or however you want to label it, I think it's a fear that they've gotten over the years, and not a relationship that they've built with our race or our skin color. And so, when I look at this, I just look at it from a multitude of directions.
For sure. And I totally agree with you in your assessment of the officer being able to just give himself more time before making such a decision. And from the time of the foot chase, 6 seconds before the shot was fired. So, as a mother, I would have been totally heartbroken just after seeing the video and listening to the explanation of what occurred. I didn't necessarily see all of the things that the police said occurred. I had the opportunity to look at the police chief's briefing of the shooting of Ryan Hinton, and let me give my condolences to the family of Ryan Hinton as well. But I had the opportunity to look at that briefing, and the police chief was narrating certain things that was supposedly happened, as i.e., when he fell, they heard a gun, and she reiterated that several times. And then she said when he ran through the garbage containers, his hands were in a bladed position, and he was pointing a gun at the officer, the shooting officer. And I didn't necessarily see that as well. The video was blurred, but I didn't see that. I didn't see his hands in a bladed position, and I didn't see him looking at the officer who was off to his side as well. I didn't hear drop the gun from the officer, so I just had some problems with the from what I saw. So I can only imagine sitting in a police briefing, and the father, as a mother, and as the father hearing them explain to him what he's seeing, and they're not maybe lining up. I can only imagine. I can see how that could be troublesome to him, and I can see how his heart could be broken as well, and also angry. I can see that. So so this is a tough situation for all sides, and but what I would implore just everyone to take from this is to make sure that we do a better job at protecting ourselves, compliance on the suspect side, and also for the police to do good tactics, cover and concealment. When you know you're chasing an armed offender, take certain protocols, slow it down. Remember, you still can set up a perimeter. There were clearly enough officers there. From what I understand, they have drone technology in that police department. Obviously, they have K9, and I'm sure if they have drone technology, and they have air support as well. So just remember, if everyone uses good tactics, and we have to train our minds for that, because in dynamic situations, you have to revert back to training. So even citizens, start imagining yourself in a police confrontation or a stop, and remember, as my husband said, we have to train our babies for to survive the police. And a lot of times we tell them to make sure you put your hands on the steering wheel. Don't reach for in your glove compartment. Don't reach under your seat. Don't reach without communicating your actions so that you can lessen the officer's fear. So that's how we need to just move forward from this, because it's a tough situation. And police departments, I know we're getting a little in this political environment where accountability seems like it's being lessened, because qualified immunity is starting to creep in by dropping cases, by getting rid of consent decrees. I don't want police departments to take advantage of that and start violating people's rights or using excessive force, because citizens can push back, and then that can cause more harm to officers. So just continue to follow the policies, use good tactics, and also citizens, please comply, 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 and always show your hands, because I was trained that we have to watch the hands, because that's going to kill you.
I agree. And, when I think about this, and this will be my final thoughts on it, is just that I think our police department did a very good job of community policing. And no matter how many giveaways you do, or how many times we go in the community and dance with the kids, or race them, or play basketball, or take them to track and field events, or whatever. When a situation like this happens, it can really set us back.
For sure.
And I believe that there needs to be accountability on both sides. There has to be accountability on the side of the law enforcement officer, as far as if his actions were in policy and guidelines, and there likewise has to be accountability on the side of the father who took the life of the police officer. So, there must be accountability both ways if we want this relationship, this police community relationship, to work. Because as we know, as law enforcement officers, we're severely outnumbered by the community. And if there's ever anarchy or some sort of total civil arrest, them versus us, the us is going to lose every time. So I want us to make sure that we understand that, just because we're police officers, we're not always right. And as a community, um, to understand some of the fears of the police officers as well, because a lot of times the first interaction that um, some other races may have with us, especially even in law enforcement, may be on the job. You may not have ever had an interaction with somebody who was darker skinned or black or understanding the culture. And so, you know, we have to, I think, as law enforcement, look at each other as human. We have to look at each other as like I always did. Was when I saw someone of a different hue or a different race or nationality, that could be my father, that could be my son, that could be my brother, that could be my cousin. So I think that helped me interact better, just understanding that, I'm looking at, someone who could be related to me. And I think that that's what we have to do. We have to see each other as human.
Absolutely. Definitely have to start there. And it's okay too for police departments to give condolences to um, victims and the suspect's family. It's really okay. So there you have it. It's another episode of Car to Car podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and please comment and give us feedback. We appreciate that.
Until next time.